Hi there, thank you for joining me on Ferncrafts. I'm Christine and I welcome you to my channel. I have some Paphiopedilums, not too many left, and I thought I would do a video on them because I want to repot all of them. All meaning the 3 that I have. So I thought I would do a video just because I've recently been watching some videos and knowing that I don't really know how to care for them, as in, you know, they were doing well for a time, but I've just, you know, lost interest in them really. And then after a while now, I realized that I don't want to really give up on them either because they're not looking too bad in spite of the way they look right now. And I'll show you that once I take them out of the pot. I'm hoping to find some roots in there that are good and that we can save, and I'm going to just be repotting them. So what I am going to be using for the repotting are some clear pots, and I have to say that these are just going to be the pots that they're going to be potted into, but they will sit inside dark pots because Paphiopedilums like to have their roots in the dark. As you can see, these are all in dark pots and they've all been potted up, and these are the medium that I've used in the past is bark mix, mainly bark mix. And this one has like a mixture of bark and some other things in there. And this is just plain, I think it was small bark mix that was used, and it is high time for this to be repotted. They don't like to sit in acidic medium, and that makes their roots deteriorate very fast. So an example of that would be my lovely Paphiopedilum raisin eyes, and I'm reading upside down, I don't know why. Here we go. Raisin eyes crossed with Basinying web, and did I say hyacinth? I think it's Sinying. Raisin eyes, and this is what had happened. It had a nice long root, but you know, and all I did was just keep watering it. We just drowned the orchid and all its roots died. And this is what's left of it. I don't think it's even going to survive, but it has this new leaf on there, and it's probably been there for a while. I don't know. I don't want to put in too much effort, but I feel really bad giving up on it too. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this one, but those 3 I'm going to be repotting. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I've done is taken them out of the pot and dumped the media, and we will not be using that media obviously, and it's a good idea to change the media every year or twice, once in 2 years, just because the media does break down, and if you are using an organic media like bark mix, then it will deteriorate and cause it to be acidic. So I've taken it out, and as you can see, there are different stages of growth obviously, and this one has the least bit of root on it. It's just 2 good roots, and this one is barely there. And the roots, even though they do look very dark and brown, this is characteristic of Paphiopedilums. And the way you know that they are good active roots is that they will be plump and solid, not squishy. If they are squishy, then they are probably dead. So the other thing is that they have these fine tiny hairs that you can see that are characteristic of the Paphiopedilum, and that is how they will draw the nutrients and water that they need from the media around them. So this one, as I mentioned, I don't think I've introduced them, what they are. So this is the Ruby Mist crossed with Voodoo Magic and Ward Eye. I got this orchid when it was just about the size. It hasn't done much growing for me, unfortunately, and I've had it for over 3 years, 4 years maybe now. And so maybe this was not a very good purchase as far as, you know, what it's done for me. But then on the other hand, the leaves are pretty to look at just because they're the model leaf kind. They have these markings on the leaf, and yeah, so they haven't done bad, but they haven't done anything either. So that's the first. The next one, these two are the plain leaf kind, and they are cooler or growing paths. And this one here is the Philippines Jordan crossed with Sandranium Madeline, and this, I can't even remember when I got this orchid. Actually, I might have got both of them at the same time. I can't remember. But it's a Philippines, which has that very plastic looking flower, but it's beautiful. And this one here is Paph in Charm Lipstick number 6 crossed with Paph California Girl Free Spirit. And again, these two, I did get them in bloom, and they were very pretty to look at. The blooms are very long lasting, and yeah, they're just you know, very graceful flowers. And but it's just, I have not been able to rebloom them. And so anyways, as you take them out, they're gonna look like this. And this one, I washed the other two, but I've just left this one to show you. There are a lot of dead roots in there. I'm gonna clean it up, wash away all, cut away all the dead root, give it a good wash, and I will bring it back to you. Okay, and that does not look very promising. So after I've given it a good wash and cut off all of the dead roots, this is what I'm left with. So it's just got the one root really, and not looking very great at that, but we'll see. We'll give it a try and we'll see. Alright, so to now move on, I am going to use, I was thinking of using like larger pots, one definitely for the big one with roots. So this is my clear pot, and the medium that I'm using very quickly are these clay pellets. And the reason being that I want to try having them in semi-water culture, and it seems to work very well for those that have tried it, because they get the hydration that they need, and at the same time it's a lot easier as far as the medium. It is not going to break down. So that's what my thinking behind this is, and so let me give that a try. Okay, so let me just tell you what happened right now, because I might have cut off the video prematurely, because I got a fright of my life. Okay, so I started off with putting some pellets on the bottom, and I was about to put this orchid into the pot when the top of it just snapped away. And I thought, oh no, what have I done? Because now really, like, this doesn't look very promising, right? And what am I going to do with this? So that was very sad, and you can see the point at which it snapped right there. So I was just trying to fix it back, and you know, trying to tape it together using some Velcro, which I am still going to do, is to put it together and tie it up with Velcro just to keep it together. And I know that I've never tried this with orchids. I've never tried this with a Paphiopedilum. I'll just tell you that up front. But I know that you can get some cell regeneration with plants. And this method has been used in the past, where you can stick to, I'm forgetting what the term is, and everyone's screaming telling me what it is. Anyways, so there is that, and I was just going to tape it together with some Velcro, which I am still going to do. But all is not lost, because I was just looking at it to think and see whether it's even, you know, worth the effort, when I started to see that it was already thinking ahead and starting to put out roots. So there are root tips all around this orchid's top. And just so that I can show you, and you can know that I'm not just making things up because I want to make myself feel better. Here it is. Okay, where are you? Because I just saw them right now. Oh, there we go. So there, see, that's a root tip. And behind there, there's another one as well. So there are some active root tips. And yeah, there. You see that? Right there. So yes, I'm going to tape this back together and I'm going to plop it in, and I am going to fill it up with the clay pellets and try and stake it a little bit so that it doesn't move. Okay, so maybe I can give you a quick peek at it before I fill in the pebbles. I've actually twisted the roots around a little bit while they are wet, so just because it makes them a little more pliable, and it's standing up on its own. And as you can see, I've velcroed the two ends together. I may not even have to do that because you can see that there are root tips pushing out. Right there is one, and this orchid knew what was happening to it and had a game plan. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to fill up with the clay pellets. Okay, I'm really liking that some of these are really small pebbles, so they can fill in the gaps. And just to show you as comparison, that here are the larger ones, or the more you know, medium-sized ones, and you can see there's a lot of the smaller ones as well. So I've used a lot of that to fill it in and fill in as much of the gaps as possible, and tap the pot constantly so it helps it in settling in to the gaps, and it will do so with the watering as well. So now, because of that break, I've just not covered it all the way to the top because I don't want it to encourage any rot, because that would just mean the orchid will go in reverse and decline instead of trying to improve in any way. So yeah, there it is. I'm not sure if this is even going to be successful, but I'm glad that I caught it on camera somehow. And you know, that way I would learn going forward as well. So here we are going to attempt something and hope for the best. There are essentially 2 orchids in there, but for now we just keep them together, and that is the name of the orchid. It's Paph and Charmed Lipstick number 6 crossed with Paph California Girl Free Spirit. So here's hoping for the best on this orchid, and I will be doing the same with the other 2 as well. I just have to find smaller containers for them because they have barely any roots on them, but I will be using the orchid, the clay pellets for those as well. I'm sorry for all of the you know, breaks in this video, but that's just the way it is. Sometimes with repotting, you really don't know what to expect, and things happen that you don't really plan for. So I hope you understand. So there you go, folks. That's the orchid, and then I managed to pot up the other 2 as well. I've just used some yogurt containers, and on this one I've put holes on the bottom of it. And I'll place it into another pot with a little bit of water, and that's what I'm going to be doing with this as well, and that will be my water culture for this one. Because this is the one with just the 1 root on it, I have left it without any holes in this pot, and I'm just going to leave some water on the bottom, and that's going to act as humidity, because it really doesn't have roots to pull in the water or rot. So I can safely put some water in the bottom, but I just have to make sure to clean out the water on a regular basis. So there you go. That's just a very messy looking update for you, and I do want to tell you that with these clay pellets, it's a good idea to wash them once before use, which I haven't done on this video, but I usually do, because there is a lot of dust that settles or the clay has around it, and that needs to wash out. So there you go, folks. And lastly, just because I didn't want to leave this orchid out, this is this very sad looking orchid, which I don't even think it's going to make it, but because of that 1 leaf on the top, which looks like it's a new growth right there. New as in it might have been growing for a while, you know, but it doesn't have any roots on there. But what I've done is I've stuck the whole stick down to the length of it, and this is just a water bottle or a Coke bottle actually, that I've cut off the top and used. And again, no holes on the bottom because there are no roots, and I will just put a layer of water on the bottom for humidity and see what happens. So I will give you updates on this, let's say a month from now, and that way we can check on how it's growing, good or not. Thanks again for watching, and for those of you who haven't done so already, do subscribe. You'll be the first to know when I upload videos. My videos are mostly about orchids and my journey with them, as I learn from them and from others that I watch. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, enjoy your orchids. Bye-bye.